today we're back at the National Association of Broadcasters out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's been 2 long years. Let's go check it out and see what industry professionals have to say today. Hello, I'm Caitlin Ellis, and today I have B&H. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well, and I want to thank you so much for joining us.
Definitely.
Can you please tell our viewers your name and your position?
My name is Dana Glidden. I manage social media for B&H Photo.
Can you please tell our viewers how long have you been B&H and how did you kind of become connected with them as well?
I just passed 15 years at B&H. I have had this job for 2 days longer than I lived in New York. It's been a great company to work for, and yeah.
And can you please tell our viewers next, what is being featured this year at 2022 NAB?
This is I believe it's our 29th NAB, so our presence here continues to grow. This has been our spot for the last many years next to Sony here. This year we have almost double the size of the booth that we normally have. We have 2 dedicated camera lineups, a unique feature for B&H here where we're kind of putting one camera next to the other for our guests to test against and really make an informed decision. So we have our standard camera lineup for anything from ENG to commercial video, and our cinema camera lineup for filmmaking and anything higher end through our B&H Studio division. Along with that, we have a whole slew of audio this year with a dedicated podcast setup, an on-location sound setup, and shotgun and boom mic demo area. We have a full post-production setup with HP Z computers and Blackmagic design. So we have a whole post-production setup as well for anything from color grading to VR production. And our vendor area in the back, we have a variety of vendors that have joined us this year who are showcasing either new or hot products for what they offer for our clientele. And what else? We have a demo stage, which you can see behind us. We have presentations happening 2 or 3 days this week, about 6 or 7 presentations a day.
And if anybody would like to find out more about B&H or the products you have, where can they find you?
You can check out bhphoto.com and BH Photo across basically anything on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, our YouTube channel, and elsewhere.
And whether it be something B&H is working on in the future or now, is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience?
Well, we do have our superstore in New York City on 34th and 9th, which has become sort of a chosen destination for everybody in the industry, and it's worth checking out for anybody within the photo and video industry. It's like NAB in the center of Manhattan.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us. It's been great to be back at the 2022 NAB. I hope you have a wonderful day. I want to thank you for taking the time.
You too. Thanks so much.
Hello, I'm Caitlin Ellis, and today I'm here at the 2022 NAB with TV Pro Gear. How are you doing?
Doing good. Very busy at the show here and having fun.
It's been great to be back, and it's great to see you again. Can you, for our audience just tuning in, please tell us your name, your title, and a little bit about TV Pro Gear, the history behind.
Okay. I'm Andy Maisner, and I'm the president and founder of TV Pro Gear. We have 2 divisions. One is video system integration, where we design and build TV stations, video trucks, and mobile systems like fly packs. The other division is our professional services group, where we provide crew and equipment for shooting live events like concerts, conferences, sports, esports, and for example, right now we're shooting Divorce Court in Atlanta, Georgia for the 4th season for Fox. So 2 divisions.
And can you please tell our viewers what is being featured this year at the 2022 NAB for TV Pro Gear?
Well, what's new this year is several systems, really. But this is our new digital cinema fly pack, and you can see we're not nominated for the NAB Product of the Year award. So a lot of trend in the high-end music videos is that people want to use the digital cinema cameras rather than your traditional studio cameras to get that shallow depth of field, the film look. So we created this universal 8K video system that can handle up to 16 cameras for live events using digital cinema cameras, but we convert out of the back of the digital cinema camera the signal to go down this empty fiber, and we bring the traditional functions to digital cinema camera, like intercom, power to the camera, remote paint, and so on. So, and it works with any brand, Arri, Sony, Panasonic, Aricam. So we think this is a big need, and we know we used it just recently for the first time to shoot a Norah Jones video on top of the Empire State Building, and we already got 7.2 million views. So fulfilling a new need.
And can you please tell our viewers next, for a lot of businesses, they were affected by COVID-19. How was TV Pro Gear specifically affected?
Well, first of all, we had 30% of the staff get COVID.
Wow.
But it was really a good opportunity to show the company's loyalty to the employees. We told everyone to work from home. If you're sick, you'll get paid full salary as long as it takes to get healthy. And we implemented very strict cleaning procedures. So we had all of the management staff and accounting worked remotely, and only the assembly people worked at our facility, and they worked in shifts to keep the number of people minimum. Our production services business fell apart. It went down by 85%. But we rotated and started building proprietary REMI systems that allowed us to do remote productions, controlling it from our facility in Glendale, California, but we could send out camera packages to people all over the world and do it remotely.
That's great to hear, during that time that you were able to pivot and kind of, send out packages to people, but yet still be able to work and protect your staff. So.
Yeah, it was a time to innovate,
At this time, is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience? Maybe something TV Pro is working on in the future or now?
Well, let's see. We have a new fly pack here, and I know you'll grab some shots of it, called Genesis 2. And it's designed for smaller productions with robotic or operator-controlled cameras. It's pretty inexpensive, and it's designed to be operated by one person. The one we're showing here right after the show ships to Cal State University at Stanislaus for using it for shooting and streaming professors giving lessons. It's also appropriate for small churches and for shooting legislative bodies like city council meetings. So a big city wouldn't use this, but for example, Mammoth Lakes in California is a city of 10,000 people. They don't have a $100,000 budget, but they do have, a $20,000 budget. So, or a very small church that has a small budget. So we built something that's high quality, easy to use, and doesn't require a big staff. And we have online tutorials to use it. So I think it's a wave of the future for us. Big systems, little systems.
That's a great thing about TV Pro. They're very versatile, to fit whatever the company needs. But if anybody would like to find out more about TV Pro Gear, where can they go?
So they should go to tvprogear.com, or they could call our phone, 818-246-7100. We're all over the internet and easily approachable.
Hello, I'm Caitlin Ellis, and today I'm here with Grass Valley. We're here at the 2022 NAB. How are you doing?
Doing really well. It's an awesome show that's going on right here.
Oh yes, it's exciting, especially after 2 years to be back and just everything going on.
Right. Well, and as you can see, we're packed, so
It's
been fun to have that energy again.
Can you please tell readers your name and what you do?
Sure. My name is Chris Merrill, and I am the Director of Strategic Marketing for Grass Valley.
And may I ask for our audience, how did you become involved with Grass Valley?
Well, how did I become involved with Grass Valley? I've been involved in the tech industry for a long time, doing various things around image and video for quite some time. And I actually came to Grass Valley about 15 years ago when a recruiter said, hey, would you like to come work for us? And I flew into Reno, and I drove up over the freeway, and I came through that beautiful I-20 corridor down into Grass Valley, which is where the company was located, and I said, I got to live here. So it was recruitment for the environment, for one thing, but the technology has been phenomenal to play with.
And for our viewers that may not know and who are just tuning in, can you please tell us the history behind Grass Valley?
Grass Valley's been around for about 63 years. It actually started in the Bay Area and then moved up into the Nevada City, Grass Valley area. We started actually doing some amplifier kinds of things. Turned out to work with NASA for a little while, and that took us off in the technology direction, and we just continued to build on a variety of different, what became broadcast technologies, and have really expanded out. We're actually have one of the largest portfolios of broadcast equipment now in the industry.
That's amazing to hear. And for a lot of companies right now, during the pandemic, they were affected in different ways. Can you please tell our viewers how was Grass Valley affected?
Sure. Well, of course, for a while we were all wondering, because our customers are people who do live events, particularly sports. So at the beginning of that time, everybody was saying, what do we do? We were all watching esports or reruns of old things, and so that was tough for a while. But we also used that time to really develop. We were already working on a platform that would take us to cloud technology and remote production. And because much of our equipment was already used in traditional remote production, as soon as sports started again, that helped us accelerate that. But then we were able to also bring in this cloud aspect and working together. And we'll probably talk a little bit more about that, but that really pushed things forward a lot faster in getting to where we needed to be today.
It's wonderful to hear that you guys were able to kind of thrive during this time, and kind of pivot to do your own thing. But can you please tell our viewers next, is Grass Valley featuring this year at the 2022 NAB?
Sure. Well, I'm incredibly excited. In fact, for this show, we created a map because we wanted people to see all of the different things. Right, there are 10 stops on this map of all of these different products.
Wow.
But I mentioned before, we were starting to think about this before the pandemic. But we looked at the industry and we said, okay, what are the current challenges? People are watching a lot more content. Just generally across the board, across the world, that consumption of content is up, particularly live content. You've got a whole bunch of new players coming in that are pretty cash rich, right? So that's increasing the cost. If you looked at what they're charging for sports rights these days, it's a lot higher. But the other challenge that we've seen is, particularly because of the pandemic, all of those people who used to work in broadcast have gone out to work in other areas. So there's this real lack of talent that know how to use that technology. So we're looking at all these problems. You can do, work harder, faster, but that's only sustainable for so long. So how do you really make that easier? And as we took we thought about that concept, we really thought we need to take advantage of what's happening to other industries with this transition to cloud, because that would bring the efficiencies in that our customers need. So as a result, we essentially transformed the whole production chain. So when you make television, you start at things like cameras. So we developed some new cameras, in fact, and they have the ability to produce IP streams directly out of the back of the cameras now. So they're going right into a network, and then we're able to then bring those in to a cloud environment. And from there, we actually reinvented all of the production tools. So normally, if you were to do a sports production in the traditional way, you'd pull in a big truck, right? It's full of equipment, got all of these racks of equipment in the back of that truck. Now what we've got is a software that I can sit from my home and actually switch that show remotely. In fact, we had not too long ago a production where they had, I think it was 7 different locations in Europe, right? So they had cameras in all of those areas. They brought them into cloud instance that we run on AWS in New Jersey. And the guy who was switching it was sitting in a shed in Sacramento. He built a shed in his backyard, put the little panel in the backyard, connected that to the internet, and now he's switching the program from all of those different cameras in his backyard, where that was just impossible before. All right, so that's totally redone that whole concept of what does it mean to produce live television. Now we obviously still support trucks, and there are some instances where that's important. But in many cases now they can do all of that from remotely. The people who do replay, same kind of concept. I've got a small panel now, I connect that to the internet, I'm doing replay from my home. People who do camera shading, we're showing over here somebody who's shading the camera from Nevada in Breda, Netherlands. Right? Audio mixing, same thing. The audio mixer's over there, but it doesn't really matter where the audio is coming in. So all of that live production now, they're able to handle on a single cloud platform. But then the nice thing is, because we've developed this platform that's underlying all of these solutions, I now can hand that off to the next thing, which is still running on the same platform, which is asset management. I can cut that all up, create my social and my digital and the various formats that have to happen, and then hand that off to either master control, where I'm doing the branding for the channel, or to Playout, where it just sends it out to all of those various phones or tablets or whatever. So, we really have changed that entire chain from acquisition all the way to Playout on the other end. And then brought in a lot of other partners to be as a part of that platform, because we wanted, it's one thing to have a platform, but it's another thing to say we really need to make this available to the industry, right? So that's the other thing we've done, is said we need it to be open. So the other thing that's on our show is a wide variety of partners who did everything from intercom to graphics to other kinds of things that also supplement that entire production chain and make it easy to work with whatever tools they have, but in this same cloud environment. So we've really done a lot of work in the past 3 years to change how we make television.
That's incredible to hear, and thank you for sharing that little story with our audience. But at this time, is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience, that whether Grass Valley's working in the future, now, or anything else?
Well, I think it's important to we've talked a lot about cloud.
Yes.
For many people, that's kind of scary, right? It's a whole new technology, completely different way of doing things. I think it's important to also recognize that that's where people will need to go eventually. But it's important to say, okay, we need to do this in a way that makes sense for us. So, if you need all of that traditional kind of equipment today, we've got it. But what we're trying to do is allow you to then transition this at your pace, to be able to add on as you need to in order to burst to that. And then you use the tools as best fits your production. And so that's that additional thing that we've tried to do, is give people a way to go from where they are today in a way that makes practical sense for them to where they need to be in the future. So.
Well, I want to thank you for taking the time and joining us. If anybody would like to find out more about Grass Valley, where can they go?
Probably the best places are our website at grassvalley.com, and connect with us there, and we're happy to have those conversations.
And today, a very special guest, Cablecast Tightrope. How are you doing?
I'm good.
That's great. And can you please tell our viewers your name and your
Sure.
title and kind of what you do, please?
Sure. I'm Steve Israelski, and I'm president of Cablecast Community Media, and we make the hardware and software that plays out local cable access content on the cable system, but then also online, and then also on OTT devices like Roku and Apple TV, and mobile devices like iOS and Android. As the industry has expanded and ways of reaching people have increased, we've changed with it, and so that's why we do all these things in addition to playing out on the cable system.
And just kind of go further into what you do, how long have you been with Cablecast, and kind of how did you become involved?
So I joined Cablecast about 15 years ago, and had done a variety of different things with Cablecast and Tightrope, which is the company that Cablecast is a part of. And a long time ago, 30 years ago, I worked in local community television and have always been interested in community TV and in reaching people, and one way or another found myself back in that field, but on a different side.
And at this time, what is Cablecast Tightrope featuring this year at the 2022 NAB?
A lot of things that are pretty particular to the companies that we serve, but one of the things that we're featuring is, so we have this service called Cablecast Reflect, which takes a live stream and distributes it from the cloud out, and it also distributes it to mobile devices and OTT platforms. And so one thing that we have added this year is something we call Cablecast Reflect Plus, which pushes the content to the cloud and stores it in the cloud so that everything gets delivered from the cloud, which makes it smoother, and it also means that there isn't any network traffic that comes into the facility. It's all just handled in the cloud. So that's one of the things that we're doing, and then some things that are very specific, like ways to make it easier for our customers to move content from one server to another, rules that automatically move content from one place to another. Another thing that we added just pretty recently was closed captioning. We've always supported passing through closed captions, but we added earlier this year the ability to create closed captions. And so it's just a switch that you turn on, and you can start captioning your content either live or the video files.
And during this time, during the pandemic, a lot of different companies were affected in different ways.
Right.
How has Cablecast Tightrope affected specifically?
Actually, with the pandemic, what our customer base does became much more important. One of the groups that we serve school districts, we serve cities in addition to public access channels. But all these school districts and municipalities that have regular meetings, council meetings, school board meetings, people couldn't attend them in person, and the participants couldn't even attend. So a lot of these organizations started using different platforms like Zoom, or Microsoft has a product that does the same thing. And there are a variety of products. And so one thing so we became more critical. I guess the short answer, we became a lot more critical to what they do, because we became the only way television and the web and these OTT devices became the only way that people could attend the meetings. And so what we did is we added a couple of features to Cablecast, so that you could take the output of these virtual meetings and go directly into the broadcast server and broadcast it out to the public. So that was brought on by the pandemic, and frankly, we got really busy, because we and access channels became much more critical to getting information out.
And if anybody would like to find out more information, where can they go?
They could go to www.cablecast.tv, and they can read all about what we do.